Alright, morning.
Right, Dan.
Alright.
Right, pal.
Alright.
Saw you at Christmas Day
Oh, what did I do?
filming cleavage.
What do you mean? I didn't. I didn't.
I seen it. I seen it. Like you being dragged to the dance floor.
Yeah.
Alright guys, it's Ryan from RJ Martindale and BHE Services. Here we run two plumbing and heating companies covering Bolton, Wigan, Chorley, Manchester, and then further up north, Lancaster, Morecambe and the Lake District. Currently operate 11 vans between both of the businesses. It is our first video of the year. It's the 17th of January, Friday again. And we've had a bit of a ropey start to the year, but in this video, I'll talk about how we finished the back end of last year, the issues within the first couple of weeks of this year, and then what our plans are moving into the new year. So I'm hoping at this point everyone else is pushing on. I know some people say that January is a bit grim. For our industry, obviously it's flat out, especially with the weather at the minute. So you've no time to think anyway. You're just you're fighting fire really, and that's definitely what we're doing at the minute. We're all out on the tools. Everybody's flat out. I mean, I'd stick the girls in the van if I could. I'm just looking at my diary today and this week compared to what it was 12 months ago. It's just nuts, and there's not a lot I can do about it. Everyone else is out. Warren as well, that's in a bit of a hybrid role that works both operations and does a bit on the tools. He is just flat out. Dan, that does a bit of surveying, all that stopped. He's just on the tools. And I'm doing any surveys that are coming through, we're doing that and then picking up breakdowns as well, plus the rest of the engineers. I call it redlining in the diary when it's butts up over 80%, and it's like that every single day. We did part company with an engineer at the back end of last year, and I didn't want to rush into getting somebody else, so that's kind of added to it. I just made it clear, listen, we're all in, this is what we're going to need to do. As we passed through from November to February, it is what it is, and we've just got to make it happen. But I would say that did catch up with me around New Year's Eve, New Year, where I got flu for the first time. I've never really been ill for more than 24 hours, but this wiped me out for about five days really. And I would say roughly this week I've just started feeling a bit better. So that was a pain. But yeah, the back end of last year, we finished on, I wanted to hit 300 boilers, which I talked about in the last few videos. We ended up doing just over 300, but we actually only fitted 292. I've just had a look this morning. What we did do is the rest of the boilers, learning from 12 months ago where we came into the new year at a dead start, I wanted to have 5 to 10 boilers coming into the start of the new year. So at least the lads could crack on, and that's what we've done. So in comparison to last year, I know we were struggling a little bit. Towards the back end of January, I think we'd only hit about 10 boilers. We're now, we're 2 weeks into the year, we're halfway through January, and we're 25 boilers in. So much better start there. But don't get me wrong, I've had a couple of big issues which I'll talk about further on in the video that's cost us a lot of money. Probably in total 8 to 10 grand worth of mistakes really. So I'll talk about that towards the back end of the year. But yeah, we hit our target for our boilers. That was split between, I think we did 205 Worcesters, and then the rest of it was split between Glowworm, Alpha, fit a couple of Valents, fit a couple of Wiesmann triple ones, the storage boilers. So yeah, that was good. Great work from the team. And within them boilers, we didn't spend any money on finance charges, didn't finance any of the jobs, and none of the jobs came from PPC, whether that be Google or Facebook. So excellent for me and the business. That being said, I feel if we do want to take the boiler installations from 300 to 400-500, we will more than likely need to be bringing in another advertising marketing source, whether that be paid ads or whatever. But at this point, I'm not thinking about that right now. Homecare, we surpassed 2,000 home care customers which are signed up to our monthly plans, they range from £8.50 to just over £30 a month. So brilliant work there. How that works for us compared to last year is another 10 to 12 grand per month coming into the business with pretty much the same team and less marketing spend. So it just gives the business more support and more security going into summer this year. Like, so I can't tell you how much better it is for me mentally from a stress point of view going into the summer, knowing that all my team are secure. And for the home care, what we are finding now, which it just takes time, but we're getting more of word of mouth of recommendations specific to home care. We get recommendations all day long for general plumbing works, but when it comes to boilers, which you want, and home care, that's the important thing. And it just brings your marketing costs down then. So that's been good, but it it takes time. We started this in 2020, roughly, around the COVID time. It's averaged 500 customers a year. So when you look at it day to day, it feels quite slow. It might only be a couple of sign-ups a day, or some days you might not get a sign-up. But if you look at it across the year, and then over 5 years, and then over 10 years, where I really start, that's where the magic will start happening at the 8 to 10 year mark. Yeah, it'll be great, but it's just the daily grind of keep pushing on and trying to convert them customers and bring it into the team, which that's a big thing that happened over the last 12 months. The team know exactly what the targets are, the aims of RJ Martindale and BHE, which is boiler installations and building home care, and they understand the reason for doing that. Van's filthy, it's because of all snow and sleet on the roads. Just ends up a mess, and that's all our vans as well, they all need cleaning. But yeah, continuing the vans, Luke, Scott, Aaron and Dan, they're all in early, 7:30, because they've all three of them have got boilers in. Got a boiler going in Chorley, Bolton, and Luke is right up Lancaster. That was an emergency that came in yesterday from the BHE business, which are primarily breakdown engineers that we've got there. So any installations, we'll send our guys up. It does take about 50 minutes to an hour, to get over there and get set up. So they'll start early and then they can finish early and miss the traffic coming back in. But yeah, I was talking about home care. It's good to see now that we're getting a lot more customers that are coming not directly from any adverts that we're putting out. They're coming from recommendations. Now, as a plumbing business, electrical business, whatever you're doing, you'll get recommendations like broadly across your business. But when they start coming in specific to the area that you're trying to build on, with us it'd be boilers and home care, that's brilliant because it starts bringing your costs down, your marketing costs everywhere else. And that's what's happening. And it's coming up all the time, the amount of home care customers that are signing up per month, the cost amount. It used to average roughly £500 per month, compounding each month. Now it's up between, I'd say, 600 to 900 per month, every month. So that's excellent. It just, again, 12 months time from now, the business will be in a much safer and better position.
I've just had, the disabled man from yesterday morning in Adlington. I've just had his daughter on the phone asking when we're booking the boiler in for install.
Today?
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah. She didn't seem to know anything about it.
Right. Scott's on his way over. He's just getting his boiler now. A job that came in yesterday, so as much as the diaries were absolutely rammed, that emergency came in, I think 8 o'clock, and my first job was booked between 9 and 11. So I said to Catherine, send me straight over there. It was a Valent boiler. The customer said the boiler had burst. So anyway, when I turned up, the hoses on the old Valent Ecotec Plus, they'd split, flooded the boiler, and it ended up being a new boiler. Again, this is a boiler like years ago. I'd have probably been in there with a hairdryer and attempted to repair the boiler, stuck a board in it, put some new hoses in. The boiler's 19-year-old. Just doesn't make sense. So the customer, give both options: the cost to repair, cost to replace. He wanted a new boiler in. Just so happened we had a conversion move today, so it gave me the option of 2 new boilers, and Scott's doing that today. But it looks like I've confirmed the job with the customer, the price on site, but not actually confirmed installation for tomorrow, and the customer's rang up. asking when we're doing it. But literally, Scott's probably knocking on the door now with his boiler. And talking of chasing boilers, Turner's Heating and Plumbing, you commented on the video last month, and I really appreciate the comments as well, like, really appreciate it. But you mentioned it looks like from the outset that the last couple of videos were just like chasing and being aggressive with trying to get boilers and potentially fitting boilers that are not needed. But to put it into perspective, we do between BHE and RJ Martindale, between 500 and 600 jobs a month. Some months we do more than that, but never really less than 450 jobs a month. And we're installing 300 boilers a year. You know, it's nothing in comparison. We're less than 10%. So over the course of the month, if we do between 25 and 35 boilers, like much less than 10% of the actual jobs that we're doing. We're fixing hundreds of boilers all the time, servicing hundreds of boilers. But that being said, we absolutely need to be pushing to install new boilers. If the customer's in a position where it's like, is it the better option to install a boiler? You need to be pushing for that, because if you're not, I absolutely am. And I don't want to come across as a bit of a dick when I'm saying it, but that's just how it is. When you actually start looking at how much money you're spending in marketing to acquire new customers and to keep your installation engineers busy, it's a constant fight to do that all the time, all year round. And during your busier month, you need to be maximising them as much as you can. And in terms of the last few videos being more specific to boilers, that's just because of the season that we're in now, which is boiler season, and there's absolutely no structure to these videos, as you can probably tell. I'm just talking about what I'm doing here and now. But that being said, we will try and, when I've got a bit more downtime, I'm going to put some more time into creating some videos and batching some videos, so when it does get busy, we're consistently getting a video out, ideally once a week, but we're more like once a month. I will pass you over to Dan now, because I've got to crack on. Dan's been doing a boiler for his local scout hut. If you didn't know already, Dan is a scout leader and he's sorting him out a Worcester boiler.
Hi guys, so today we're at a local scout hut, 5th Bolton. It's actually my scout hut. I was a lad here and I'm a leader here now. So we've, unfortunately the boiler went down on New Year's Eve. So after me, Ryan and Stuart fit 2 boilers on New Year's Eve, I came here till about 8 o'clock trying to fix it for our New Year's Eve party. So couldn't get it running, boilers had it, so we got a load of heaters in. So party was saved, and now fitting boiler so we can open group again, get it going. -5. So we've had heaters on 5 minutes and we're getting 4 degrees in here. So that's something. 4 degrees. And then this is the boiler in question. So Worcester, very similar internal but a lot more modern inside. And should hopefully be a fairly straight swap, get it sorted, get the group going again. All right guys, so another issue we had with this boiler, or the system, we weren't 100% sure, was that we were losing pressure very, very slowly over weeks at a time. So what I've noticed today, in this cold, the pressure relief valve has started to freeze up. So it looks like water's been slowly trickling out of here and freezing there. Now I've checked this myself because I'm here twice a week. I've been checking this myself and it always feels bone dry inside here. So it's a very, very slow leak. Must only happen certain times at certain temperatures when this is running. So because I've put a new boiler onto it, I'm going to defrost that now and we'll get it going. Right, so that should be clear. I will do a little test on it, make sure it's fully clear in a minute, but that would have been a cause. It's quite a common cause on boilers across the board, but this is just on a case where it's really, really slow. So it'll be dripped out, however much water that is, to just form a little bit of ice there over, well, I turned this boiler off on 31st of December, so what's that? 10 days. 10 days ago, it's only caused that. It's designed to be a direct replacement of it, so that's how close everything is to being identical. Right guys, all sorted here at the Scout Up. Boiler is up and running nicely. Heating's getting hot, radiators are everything. It's going to take a while to warm up because it's still -degrees outside, but we'll get in there and we'll be ready to open again Monday. Smashing. It's Monday morning. Coming to the office early today because we have got a big week ahead. We're almost a bit nervous yesterday because all the diaries. I mean, it's good to be busy. Definitely good to be busy. But this week, Monday through till Friday, I've got 10 vans that are all, I'd say they're at 90%. We have got one van parked up at the minute, which is frustrating. That'll be for our new engineer that's starting in a couple of weeks, actually, in February, but he's not actually jumping straight into that van to start with. So until then, it's going to be a bit of a push. I've got installations booked for the full week. I mean, it's pretty crazy in our industry because when I say we're busy, if you look at the diary in 2 weeks' time, we don't have working. Or should I say in 3 weeks' time? It's never. I'm concerned if the diary's booked up for more than 2 to 3 weeks, we need another engineer. Season depending, but a lot of our stuff is reactive. The jobs are coming in on the day, and we've got to be there 90% of the time, the same day. Worst case, within 24 hours, which gets you on to the next day. When you've got a week that's booked up to 90%, and you know emergencies are going to come in. I mean, it's still 2 degrees this morning. I've actually come in early. I've been in office since 5:30 because I need to get some quotes finished that I didn't get done last week, and I contradict myself here because I'm all about getting quotes done on site, but when it gets to a point where I've got 6, 8, and then on to 10 jobs in the day because emergencies are coming in, I'll speak with the customer, get the details, and then quote when I've a bit more time. But it's just so inefficient. It's not good to do that. It's mainly that, not necessarily on combi boilers that are quite easy to do and conversions, but when you've got full heatings, which we've had a few of them, they just take, if you need to pry some radiators and there's a little bit more to it, then I'll do it in the morning. But I've come in today to basically run over the diary and see how I can make it run a little bit better. I mean, Connor and Stuart they're both busy in Lancaster. I'm not sure they're at full capacity, so if I need to bring Stuart down to offset some of these jobs, then that's what I'll do. But anyway, I hope everybody has a mega week, busy week. I'm going to crack on with this now, and one way or another, we'll make it happen.
Hey mate.
How are we doing, pal?
Took off the boiler fluid filter because it was like a kit.
Right.
Packed at the order, so I took the kit off.
Right. That's Scott and Theo. Hey Dan.
Yeah. Hi mate, just checking how far off you are.
I'm on my way. Just had an issue to deal with it at the office, pal. I'm about 14 minutes off.
40 minutes off. Okay, yeah. Do you want me to just start to look?
Yeah, of course. You start, mate. Fill me in when I get there. Yeah.
Yeah, will do.
Found my ID badge, so I've got that.
Oh, belted.
Yeah. Cheers, Dan.
So, cheers, mate.
Chat. We're back on the road on to the next quote. I've just finished with Dan, looking at that school. They want us to offer a maintenance contract to look after the boilers. We actually price these commercial boilers in summer. To be honest, it's a bit out of our depth in terms of we're domestic engineers. We're a domestic company that do a bit of light commercial. The commercial boilers, I'll fix and repair them all day long, but when it gets into the bigger stuff, yeah, it's another ball game. Our price we put in was about 48,000, and they've ended up having a government grant, and they've kitted it out, this plant room, and the cost came to 98,000. I mean, it's unreal, the setup, what they've done. But they want us back. They wanted us to do the job, which, to be fair, it probably made me nervous at the time where my guys fitting all that out in a school. But they want us to pick up the maintenance, look after all the TMVs, the taps, and make sure the temperatures are right, Legionella issues, and also maintain the boilers annually. which we can do, so we'll get that sorted. Speaking about Scott before, so he's heading up to Windermere to sort out this boiler. The boiler came in on the Friday as an emergency with Connor. We did mention to the customer about replacing this boiler 12 months ago, but he decided not to anyway. It's let him down, so I quoted this boiler yesterday. We're sending Scott and Theo up to Windermere, which is about an hour and a half from Bolton. They'll get this combi fitted. Bit of an awkward job. I'll put a picture on so you can see, but the benefit of having Connor and Stuart that live in Lancaster is if there are any issues, remedial works or future maintenance to that boiler, it's not like a dead job, because we would never service a boiler that's an hour and a half up in Windermere. We wouldn't put that on a service plan. But with having taken on BHE and having Connor and Stuart, they can pick up the maintenance and any other remedial works for, or any future jobs for that house. So it just gives us that wider range of coverage for the boilers. Hey, Kat.
Yeah, just a quick one. Do you want me to bring Stuart down? He's only got one job in Kendal.
Definitely.
Yeah, alright. Any emergencies, Connor can go after he's done the Lake District. There's nothing really sort of urgent that's come in for them two, so I'll bring him down then after Kendal.
Yeah, and we could do with that throughout this week, I think.
Okay. Right, no worries. I'll bring him down. All right.
Cheers, Kat.
Okay. Bye.
Absolutely. So this is what happens though between the two, between RJ and BHE. So there's 8 vans that are in Bolton that are all flat out all week, and the 2 vans I've got in Lancaster, they're never fully at capacity. So if they was doing installations as well, they'd be a bit closer. But our engineers in Bolton are doing the installs. Stuart and Connor are primarily service and breakdown engineers, and even when it's busy, I've just not got them where they need to be just yet. They're always probably at about 70%. So Kat straight away, she's rang and said, I can bring Stuart down, which absolutely, we need to just get him down to Bolton. If he can free up a few jobs for us and cover any emergencies, then it'll just help take the pressure off. So we've got a new engineer that's looking to start. I spoke about it this morning, in February, and that's Pete. And Pete's been recommended by Warren, so Warren, it's on you if it doesn't work out. But Pete has come over from he's an ex-BHE engineer. If you're watching our videos, you'll know the situation with BHE, but BHE lost a council contract back in 2020, and they went from 50 vans down to 3-4 overnight. The council contract that they had, their competitors took the contract, and also the engineers moved over. They were 2 paid over. Since I then bought BHE, I've pulled back Matt, Warren, Catherine, Louise, and now Pete. He's one of the other engineers, which is great to start bringing them back over if they're the right lads for the business. And Pete's come over, so I've met him, but instead of letting Pete loose on his own in a van, which I normally would do, I'm not doing that anymore. If there's any new engineers that are coming into the business, I want them spending some time, us being able to spend time training them. Now, it's always a nightmare, because you're always, in most cases, in business, you're taking an engineer on. In some cases it can be impulse, you just need them because of the workload, and it's not the right thing to do. So this will be a different approach. Even though we're really busy, Pete is going to spend at least a week with 4 of our lead engineers, which would be Scott on installation, Luke, Dan and Warren. And I just want him to work with us and feel what it's like on how we do things. From an engineer's point of view, he will understand, he knows the job, he knows how to do the job. But there's a big difference between doing the job and how we do it at RJ Martindale. And that's why we've got the reputation that we have. It's the attitude and our thought process from how we do a job. And if I can get that right with Pete, within that 4 weeks, then we'll be flying. He'll be in a van, and we can really start pushing on then for the year. We'll may potentially look at taking another engineer on September-ish, ready for next winter season. But this year will be more about just getting everything dialed in. I mean, we had an excellent year again last year. We're growing consistently 20-30% every year we have done for the last 5 years, which is good, but we need to be better. We still need to be better. Processes need to be better in the office. There's too much still inside my head. I'm still getting roped in a little bit here and there, well, very much roped in over the last couple of months, and I just want us to be better. So that's what we'll look at doing.
Morning. Tuesday morning, and I'm back in office early. It's 5:30, so I'm just on coffee, trying to wake myself up. Yeah, I'm just about to go and take dogs for a little. I just spin them around the block here, clear my head, prepare myself for the day ahead. But yeah, I'm still getting in the office super early just to catch up. Really busy all day till 6-7 o'clock, and then at night it's like impossible to do anything with the kids. Can manage one quote before they end up like knocking laptop down, fighting with you. You know the dance if you've got kids. At the start of the video, I mentioned us losing or making some big mistakes earlier on in the year, and this was one of them. Boilers again piling up. They're even piling up in here now. So it's still in boiler graveyard, and the boiler that we took out was this beast here, literally twice the size of a normal boiler. Not sure what weight is that. The lads have done they've done well getting it round here, to be fair, and certainly removing it. Now, what's happened with this job? I've not been involved with any of the surveying at all. Between Ben, that's no longer with us, and Dan, they've put together a quote to replace this. So this was a 65 kilowatt boiler with a vented cylinder, and they've quoted to put in a 40 kilowatt combi, okay, which is about 35 kilowatt heat output on the heating side. So I'll explain shortly the issues that we've faced in removing this beast and installing a combi, and what I've needed to do to get it fixed. I don't want to know how much it's cost me, but certainly a boiler in a load of time. But Sarah's just rang me because she's had an additional room fitted in her shop, which is just down the road, and Johnny the joiner has left a big piece. It's a full sheet of MDF, and she's got clients in at 9 o'clock. It's now 8:25. The sheet won't fit in this van, so I'm going to need to go and pick it up, and we'll use it for boiler boards in the back of the office there. Yeah, so our office just here. That's our main supplier there, plum factory next door. And the accountant, that's just over there, Westwell Neary. And Sarah's shop is about just 50 yards up the road. Here's Sarah's shop. It looks mint, but all timber's failed here, so I'm going to get that filled with. I'm going to piece in some like fascia board, soffit board, just to tidy that up. Yeah, she's just had this room done. She's done a good job. You might need to stand back there so you can see it, but she's put like seamless door in there. But this used to be all reception. But it was a bit of a wasted space really, so she's created another room in here, which she's been painting. Definitely going to get either 2 watt or 2 cold weight aircon in here, 5 kilowatt unit there. But it was a bit of a ball ache to start moving the pipework over, so she's left that. And then she's got these rooms. Room in there. Another room in here. Lorna's room. So she's like, she like rents a space, if you will. This is a training room. It's a great space, isn't it? And then
She's got a laser room in here. Machine. So fair play to her, because she's done a mint job here, and it's high pressure when you're trying to like one shop alone's hard enough, but double shop like this, the overheads that are coming in, two gas meters, 2 electric meters, so it's all big cost. And she started on her own, and now she's got a good team of girls in here, and she's making it happen. Now I told her to just put all the rubbish outside, but I don't want this board getting knackered. It's perfect for our boiler board. Love this as well, Google reviews, you know it means a lot to us. 239 5-star reviews. She's not got as much as us, but she's flying. Very difficult as well in this industry, dealing with females all the time, especially when you're working on your skin. Jeez, very difficult business, but she's smashing it. I'm proud of her. She's doing a great job. Let's crack on, Dan. Enough of this stuff. We've got to get back to the graft. Send Scott and Theo up to that. Yeah. They'll have it done in the day. So I showed you the 65 kilowatt boiler that we had outside. Cost the business a few quid from the mistake that's been made. So I'll give you a bit of a rough idea of the mistake that we've made and what we've done to fix it. But you can see the boiler that's come out. It's a 65 kilowatt boiler with a big vented cylinder. And the initial call where we've gone wrong with this is one of our engineers, Ben. He's gone out to. Do you know what the fault code is for that Wiesman? Fault code. Do you want me to speak to him? Is it the lady on the phone? Wiesman on the phone. Wiesman, yeah, I'll speak to him. Just 1 moment. Yep. Cheers. Hello. So we have been out. We've serviced the boiler. We've done a full strip down. We've removed the hoses. So they have all been cleaned. The plate heat exchange has been cleaned. But we've still got an intermittent F2 fault. But that's why we've been out first to check that at our cost. Another Wiesman boiler, F2 fault. Coming back to haunt me these now. As much as we can get Wiesman to go out, it's all dead time, us turning up, stripping these boilers down, cleaning the hoses when it's clearly a defective part on their boiler. Now the newer Wiesmans, the 05Os and the 100s, where they've converted to copper tails, we're not having the same issue. It's almost sorted that straight away, so it's evident it's these hoses. And these are on systems that are only 4-year-old systems, mint. If anyone knows what the issue is with the hoses, why they're furring up, I'm not sure whether. I've heard all types of things, whether it's down to water quality, whether it's air getting in, whether it's static through the hose. I'm not sure what it is, but they certainly do start furring up. Enough of that, back to this. So Ben and Dan have been out to do some work, some service and repair works on this system, and they've seen that the boiler's old, and the customer will have mentioned that they're looking at getting it upgraded. Now when you look at this Quakers meeting, so it's like a meeting room. If you imagine it's like either a really large domestic house or a small commercial building. So it had that boiler in, which they looked at it and thought it's well oversized. When you look at the radiators that are in there, there's maybe 10 or 12 radiators. It's not that big, but when you look at the size of the pipes, which they've discounted, they've not taken into account the sheer size of the pipe and the one pipe system that runs through the system, runs through the building that's on a skirting system. So your pipes have got 54mm coming off the boiler, reduces to 35mm and then 28mm circs. There's so much volume in the system. Now, the water draw off, there's a small kitchen, and then there's a couple of toilets that don't get much use. But when it is under demand, like let's say they're having a meeting and they're having a function and the kitchen's being used quite a lot, this is where it'll show, well, it's a big mistake what's been done. So what they've sized is to remove a 65 kilowatt boiler and install a 40 kilowatt combi. So do away with the cylinder, do away with the tanks in the loft, box on the wall. It'll provide the water for what they need, and the heating, in theory, if it was radiators, would be enough and massively reduce the costs. Now, the 40 kilowatt boiler is only 34 kilowatts on the heating, and we've taken out 65 kilowatts of boiler. So when you look at it there, you don't need to be an engineer to see that it's like half the size of, just less than half the size of the system that's in at the minute. So when I went to have a look at it, and I actually walked into the building, honestly, I had my head in my hands because I could see all the pipe work, and I'm trying to fix something that's not really fixable, and the boiler, in my mind, I know that this boiler isn't right. One thing they have done though is they installed 40 kilowatt combi, and then they installed the Worcester low loss header, which that was a good move, break point in the system, and then I wouldn't even call it light commercial, a large domestic pump coming off it. So it takes a bit of stress away from the boiler. It was the system boiler, obviously it's a combi boiler that's been fitted. So the pump's inside the boiler, that circulates through the header, and then the bigger pump to circulate through the heating. But it was taking forever to get warm. Okay, and that's not even taking into consideration the hot water. As soon as the kitchen draw hot water, that kills the heating completely. This starts cooling, and then it sends all the hot water to the taps. And now it only needs somebody to leave one of them taps open, and it completely shuts off the heating. It's dead. So that was just, that alone is enough to show that this boiler isn't right for this type of system. So what I've needed to do, at my cost as well, so all this has been priced. So in their minds, in the customer's minds, which I'll talk about in a second, they think that when we turn up and we fix this, when we put a price in for this boiler, the end result is they're going to have heating and hot water. They don't care what you're putting in. They just want to know that the job's right. And it was never going to be right. So I spent a bit of time understanding the system, seeing how the one pipe system works, which just, when you've not worked on like a light commercial, you've not looked after it before, you can spend half a day trying to suss out how everything's operating. And that's what I needed to do. Thermal imaging camera, making sure I've got an idea of what we need to do. And then to fix it, there'd have been two options with this. The ideal option would have been either a large commercial system boiler, okay? Could still use the low loss header, but a large system boiler and an unvented cylinder split off. So that'll supply with our heating and our hot water. So at this point for this kit as well, I'll mention the combi, the low loss header, and to install this, they put a price in about I think it was $5,500. So it's well out. Even at that point, it's well out. And then I've needed to come in, and this is what we've done, because we've not already got a system. We've not got a system boiler in place. I'm not going to mess about with a cylinder because we've still not got the output here. So we're going to keep it. We're going to keep the combi, utilise the combi that we've got here, but then install a second boiler, which we can do, because one thing they did do is install this low loss header, which gives us the ability to tap in a second boiler. So we come in here and we installed a 25 kilowatt heat only boiler. So when we've got both boilers supplying heat, we've got 60 kilowatts between them coming into this header, which literally as soon as we fired the boilers, it instantly made the difference. We're getting heat straight away. This was struggling like mad to get everything up to temperature with all the volume that's in the system. And the other thing that I needed to do here is remove this pump, because this was just too small. We've got the heat, but it's too small. I think it was a large domestic pump. We changed that to a Grundfos Magna, so the bigger header pump. I mean, them pumps alone, they're like £700-800. So the bottom line is we've needed to install second boiler, large commercial pump, and then that now, in my mind, I know that our plant room is sorted. Fortunately for us, we don't need a hot water circulation because the outlets are quite close to the combi, and in the event that they do run the hot water tap, it does shut off this boiler completely to the heating side, but I've still got this 25 kilowatt boiler that's topping that header up all the time, so they're not going to see that drop out. Because the thing as well, when it does move over to hot water and it drops the heat in, there's that much heat loss in the building that it feels like within minutes it's starting to cool down fast, the building. So I know in my mind now that I've got the plant room where it should be, at least as good as what it was before and more efficient. But yeah, big lessons learnt on this one. Yeah, so the bottom line with this job is I've overlooked the survey on it. I shouldn't have put it just in Dan's hands or my engineers. I should have been involved, but I think because Dan's been doing a brilliant job at surveying domestic jobs, and they're 99% of our work, and I've not seen that the price is too high. I think if the price was 8, 9, 10 grand and above, I'd have probably been more involved. I've seen it anything between 3.5 and 5.5. I've trusted Dan and not thought too much of it. But in this case, it's definitely come back to bite us. The bottom line is that this job is it was a 10 grand job all day long, but it's all about setting the expectation with the customer. This is where we've gone wrong. In the customer's mind, they just think, we're going to give you a quote and that will fix all their issues. Completely, like, you can't disregard the rest of the heating. One pipe skirt system that's not right, and then what they've actually done is on the skirt system they've teed off the steel to then add radiators as an afterthought. So yeah, lessons learnt there. The customer's absolutely buzzing now, as they would be, because we've installed this boiler, the additional pump, all at my cost, which you could go back to the customer and say, well, it's not quite right, but it's just not how we operate. So I've done it all at our cost. The job's sorted now, and it certainly won't happen again.